What's up, Knife Tube? It's Diamond Cut Steel, and you guys are going to learn something today. Alrighty, here, what we have is one of these tungsten bar type deals from, like that asshole, Brad Buckner. Brad Buckner is always talking shit about and saying how it's the greatest thing ever. Now, this here is actually a much better tool than what he sells at. Two of these cost $10. The ones he sells is called a sharpen spark or something like that. I think he sells them about $30 or $40 a pop. Anyways, this one here, you got a diamond pad here, diamond pad, ceramic, and of course the tungsten bar. Now, I will say that this tool right here, for like garden shears, gardening tools, or is just a slip in the pocket type system, will work to some extent. But please don't ever fall into the BS that this is a knife sharpener. I'm going to show you some stuff. Now, I actually have spent a lot of time learning how to use these, just so I can give it its best representation. But I really want people to stay away from these things, unless you're using it for the right. If you're using it in the right manner for the right tools or for the right usage. Basically, right here we have some terribly soft D2 in this Best Tech Mini Dundee. And when I say terribly soft D2, I mean terribly soft. This stuff's probably like 57 HRC. So what we're going to do, I'm going to knock this edge down to where it will not cut. And I'm going to show you what actually happens when you're using this to sharpen a knife. And you do not use them for that. This is, he claims it's a knife sharpener. And I mean, will I be able to get this to cut that paper? Absolutely. But it's not really sharpening a knife. What it's actually doing is you're kind of creating a burr. Well, you'll see. I'll show you under the microscope. So I'm going to show you where we're at. Don't want to have to readjust the camera 50 times, so I'm just going to do it like this. Okay. Now we are in a very dulled state right now. You can clearly see the edge is in bad shape. You see all that? You see the little chips. This edge is not cutting anything. It is totally rolled over. Cat just climbed my leg. That really felt nice. So, anyhow, yeah, this is not cutting anything. So what we're going to do, you could take this and use this diamond file and actually get this knife sharp. Using this, not so much, even though you'll get it to cut. All right, so let's go. As he shows, we're going to do it just how he does. Now, don't get me wrong, you can feel that tungsten grabbing that steel because it's much harder. But that doesn't mean it's sharpening it. Number one, what I'm doing right now is I'm literally knocking dents by tapping it. I'm literally knocking dents in the edge of this steel. Or I'm knocking dents in the bevel. Every time I tap, like, it's a harder material. Now, with it, in the time it's going to take you to do this with the ceramic rod, you would already be done. So now I do have a burr. But don't let Brad Fuckner talk you out of your money. He's selling these things at a ridiculous profit margin, and he sells a ton of them. And it's really, you only ever see him sharpen like Pakistani type knives that are 45 HRC. All right, so here's where we're at now. Now, he would call this sharp. Will this probably cut paper? Yeah, probably will. Look at that. Look at that. It will cut paper slowly. All the way to the tip. Now, this looks like a sharp edge. I'm showing this on camera. This looks like a sharp edge. This is what he's showing you guys. Okay? This knife is dull. When he shows that trick right there, oh, he dulls it, and then he does this across his hand and shows it's dull, and then he'll act like he's going to do it, but he won't because it's sharp now after you've seen him cut the paper. Okay, this knife is dull. But you just seen it cut paper. And this is how Brad Buckner is scamming you guys. He is absolutely scamming you guys. Anybody that buys that tool, he is scamming. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. Okay. Let me get it focused. Sorry, I just don't want to move my camera. Might have to. It's not easy to do one-handed. Okay, you can clearly see the scratch pattern that piece of tungsten's put on there. You notice the scratch pattern is running parallel to the edge, not up and down like the actual stone done scratch pattern. Come on. Okay. All this up here is from the stone, from the previous sharpening. That's a proper scratch pattern, but you notice down here where that tungsten edge of that tungsten block, basically 90-degree corner of tungsten, you see the scratch pattern is now running diagonal. I mean, running parallel. Okay. That is why you literally can only form a burr. You can only form a burr. You clearly see the burr right there, right? Because you have no way. All you can do is flip-flop that burr back and forth. All this is a wire edge. That's it. Now, I'm going to show y'all up here. Okay, let's get up into up into around the belly area, so I can actually like cut against the table and show y'all that very quickly that edge is going to completely flatten out. So while it was, able to cut paper, now you have a completely, if I can get it to focus, all that burr is crushed in on itself. All that burr is crushed in, and now, see what was doing the cutting was that thin, jagged piece of wire. Now it's crushed in on itself because, it's been used. It's still going to cut paper because there's a fine, it's still a thin piece of wire, but it's blunt. Now watch. When I say it's dull now, I mean it's really dull. Like, look how hard I'm pushing. Like, this knife cannot cut you now because the apex, basically, the point of that apex is a fine wire. When it's, and he's just kind of getting it towards the tip and kind of straight. That's why it'll cut paper. After you cut a little bit with it, it'll still cut paper. And this is how he's shitting y'all. It'll still cut paper. Even though the edge is completely crushed. Now watch what happens when I try to actually cut something with it. Some rolled up denim. Just plain old denim. Now watch this. And I'm pushing hard. That much to cut that denim. And I'm pushing hard. See, I mean, well, you don't see my hands. You can see, like, I'm pushing. Look at my color on my hands. If I don't push hard and I just kind of relax and just cut normally, you can forget about cutting it. It's not going to cut it. Because it's blunt. So, yeah. I mean, basically you have a flattened edge. And, I mean, you can clearly feel it. The edge is flat. It's not a point. It's flat. Don't buy these things. They give the illusion. If you know what you're doing, you can give the illusion that it's sharp by doing this. You can give the illusion that it's sharp, but it's not sharp. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's selling tons of these things by doing that. When, right here, cheaper, and you literally need no skill. I mean, if you can work that, you can work this. Line it up. Make a couple passes. All you gotta do is follow the guide. I could do it way faster if I wasn't following the guide, but I'm doing it just because that's what your newbies will be doing. Couple alternating lighter and lighter passes to get that burr off of there. Now watch this. Look at that. Cuts so nice and easy because the knife actually has bite again. And now it will cut you. Like you're not gonna, you're not doing that now because there's teeth. That look out, and I mean you can't feel it. See, that's where he shits y'all. When I'm cutting after using this, it's not sliding through that paper easily. There's clear friction. Like you can feel that the edge isn't just passing through it. But now it is. Basically, just the weight of the knife will almost cut through it. Yeah, almost the weight of the knife will almost cut through it. So these things here, they do have a place. And see, that's where a lot of people that shit on them, and for good reason, because he tries to sell it like it's the world's greatest knife sharpener. Okay. And that's just not, that's a lie. They're great for striking fire steels. If you want a fire steel striker, this thing, that sharp tungsten corner, it'll scrape a fire steel. But where these really work nicely is on scissors, curved blade scissors, limb cutters, garden tools, stuff like that, or is something that you just throw in the pack. That way you have, I would never recommend using this to sharpen your knife though. But you have a ceramic rod that you can, now see, his don't have none of this. His is just the tungsten piece. But basically you can kind of touch that edge up. This will go in the pack very easily. And it'll allow you to be able to touch up a knife if you have to. And if you was really in a bad spot, you've got diamond that you could actually form an edge with. So one of these things right here, they do have a place. They don't have a place in knives, in my opinion. I would never use this to even sharpen cheap knives. Of course, this is going on a stone straight after this video is over. I would never use this on knives, but out in the shop for garden tools, a machete, just something I want to get I don't really care about the edge quality. I just want to kind of form a V to some extent. Like, a machete or shears, loppers, stuff like that. That's where these things have a place. They do not have a place in knives. He shows them. He tries to project it as this the world's greatest knife sharpener, and he sells tens of thousands of them. The dude's gotten literally rich off of these things. He's selling them, like I said, for the sharpen sparks, like $30, $40, something like that. He's probably got $2 or $3 a piece in them. But yeah, he knows how to give the illusion of sharp. And see, the thing is, if you know what you're doing, watch, I'm going to dull this knife. Now I just knocked the apex totally flat on this knife. But if you know what you're doing, I can still make this knife look, to somebody that doesn't really know, I can make this knife still look sharp. Watch. Sorry. Well, no. Okay, I get. Well, I guess not. One pass will do it. I guess I flattened it too much. That was, I guess, me talking out my ass just then, but that is definitely not a sharp knife, but I can still make it cut paper. And basically, he's just given the illusion that the knife is sharp, just in the way I just did too. This knife cannot cut you right now. It is far too dull. And again, he's doing the same thing. Not to mention, when you're sitting there doing this, you're really jacking that bevel up. Like you're really jacking that bevel up. All I'm doing is taking that burr and kind of straightening it. And the knife will cut again. Now, let's flatten that apex. And now it's still cutting, but much tougher. Yeah, much, much tougher. And right now, again, it's flat, so it has no bite. It can't cut you. If you push hard enough, it would. But it can't because, again, instead of it being this, it's this. That's... See if I can show you guys a head-on. Like, I might have to change the camera around to show you guys this, but let's see if I can show you. Oh, yeah, here. Okay, beautiful. Okay, now this right here. Okay, that is the actual cutting edge. You can clearly see that it's flat. Now, since that works so well, what I'm going to do, let's see if I can do this and actually show y'all what it's like before it's been dulled and show you that it's just a wire. Sorry if I'm bumping the camera. I'm reaching around the camera to do this. It's not easy. Okay, let's see if I can show y'all again. And you should be able to see that it's just a wire. But it's flat. You can see it's still, can you see? That shows it really good how flat it actually is. But that's a wire. That is nothing more than a thin piece of wire. Yeah, just Please don't let that guy talk you out of your money. Look out. You can, yes, you can see. Well, I don't know if it comes through on here, but I mean, I can clearly see where the edge is formed and that it's flat. Now, this right here will cut paper if you know what you're doing. No problem. But it's dull. So, to Brad Buckner and sharpen shit, don't waste your money on this stuff.